Here we go, a Vauxhall Belmont. Where's the last time you saw a Vauxhall Belmont? The booted version of the Astra. This one is absolutely stock from its plastic wheel caps. Lovely plastic wheel caps. It's an L. Oh, that's great to see that one, isn't it? Welcome to Lot 76 Cars and welcome to the Footman James Chrome and Coffee event at the Prescott Hill Climb. First time here. Looking forward to seeing the venue and also some of the fabulous cars that are coming in behind me now. So let's go for a walk around and see what we can find. So first up today we've got a Rover 820 Coupe. It's actually a 2-litre turbo sport rather than the 2.7. This particular one was registered to the engineering department at Rover and believed to be used in the development. These are lovely cars, aren't they? I think this body style really suits that, and you don't get so many large four-door coupes, certainly of this ilk. That's a lovely looking car, isn't it? Packing 340 horsepower and a really usable package is this lovely E34 M5 Estates. Now that must be rare. It is a left-hand drive car, so I guess it's been imported. Not sure if these were sold here. I think the E39 M5 was. This one's a lovely looking car, isn't it? Love those alloys. It's in super condition. Whoever's got this has really kept up to it, and it's a Bobby Dazzler, isn't it? Manufactured not actually that far from where we are today is this fabulous Morgan three-wheeler. I'm not sure whether I could live with one, but honestly I can really appreciate the quality. So let's just have a look at that interior. Honestly, I've sat in worse armchairs. Absolutely stunning, modern enough to be usable by the look of it. Absolutely amazing looking vehicles, aren't they? Wow. So built by Jensen Motors in West Bromwich. I think it was either Vignali, I think it was Vignali styled, which I think put the noses out of joint of the Jensen brothers. But this is a fabulous Jensen Interceptor. It's a later car, it's a P, so that would make it, what, 75? Probably a Series 3 car. Jensen fans, if I'm wrong, put it in the comments. Look at that fabulous back window that's curving around. What an incredible expansive glass that is. Lovely looking car, isn't it? So Design's Eye, Giugiaro, and star of the Spire Love Me, I think, is this fabulous Lotus Esprit. This one doesn't go underwater and isn't white, so that's where the story ends on that one. Maybe a Series 2 car, I'm not sure, because it's a 1980 right-hand drive car. I love that gold colour, I must admit. It says restored and updated by Tomorrow's Classics, so shout out to them. Lovely looking interior on that one. That's a stunner, isn't it? So I'm loving this MG Metro in full Computer Vision logo. I thought Computer Vision was a sponsor of the 6R4 rally cars. Maybe they were doing touring cars as well. This is not just a wrap. This has been properly done. It's an absolutely stunning looking car. Look at the Computer Vision livery. It's a proper set out like a proper track car inside with the I think park cage and buckets. Oh, that's already turning out to be one of my favourites. I saw this car coming in and honestly couldn't wait to get a closer look at it. They've done a great job with that one. So just talking to the owner, he bought this a few years ago and it's the original paint. It's slightly faded, but it's been it's unrestored. It was stored in a garage. I think he said it's got something like about 18,000 miles on it. I might be wrong, but it's really low mileage. And a Vauxhall Belmont. When is the last Vauxhall Belmont that you saw? I just can't remember. I do remember the back in the day. The Astra was where all the action was in terms of the volume, but this Belmont is an absolute beauty. So here we've got a Noble built by a chap called Lee Noble and continued for a few years after he departed the company. I think using the Ford V6 engine out of the Mondeo, but highly tuned and developed from that. That's obviously just a basic engine, and it's an M12 GTO 3R. That's a stunner, and it really truly is a rare car. It's rarer than some of the Ferraris that are here today, absolutely for sure. What a lovely one. After a long gap out of the market, Honda relaunched the NXX. It's a Honda in the UK and Europe, but an Acura in America. And this time NSX meant new sports experience. So it used, I think, a 3.5 litre petrol engine, but also a combination of this and the electric motors to make it more environmentally friendly, if you can be. You can't take away from it what a stunning design this car absolutely is. It looks beautiful in this colour. They were officially sold in the UK, but in tiny numbers. This is a right-hand drive car, and again, like many of the cars here, it's one you won't actually see too often. Beautiful. So this is an E30 cabriolet, full cabriolet in this case, not the bow one that came out before this. This is unusual because it's actually in a solid paint finish, which is really unusual. Most of these were specified, as I recall, in metallics. Not sure what this blue is. It's a 325, so it's way up the range there, and it's in fantastic order, isn't it? I do like those. Probably one of the best E30s. Very pretty cars. Now we're going to have a chat with the owner Julian shortly, but this is a recreation of a rally car, and we'll get him to tell us all about it. It's a Lancia Fulvia, as you can see, complete with those gold Chromadora wheels. Got the Daily Mirror RAC International Rally of Great Britain, and we'll get Julian to tell us about the connection with that. But this is an absolutely stunning car. I mean, it's I think it originally came in from Europe. It's what, a 71-72k plated car. It's absolutely glorious, isn't it? So let's have a chat with Julian and find out a bit more about this particular car. So I just happened to pick out this Fulvia, which is actually a channel subscriber's car. Julian is with me now. Now there's a lot more to this car than meets the eye, so I'll let Julian tell the story about this, because this is a truly special car. Julian, tell us about it.
Right, this is a 1971 Lancia Fulvia Rally, built to the same specification of my late father, who did the 1971 Daily Mirror RAC Rally. So myself and my twin brother, we've built this car to that specification as a homage tribute to my dad. It came in from France. It lived in Italy and France all its life. It's only been in the UK a year, so it's not seen the salty roads like a lot of Lancias have dissolved, sadly, to British weather and what have you. But it's got the aluminium bonnet, aluminium doors, aluminium boot, magnesium wheels, plexiglass.
Wow. So it's a real true recreation. You mentioned even the stickers are from the 70s or something?
Yeah, absolutely. The stickers I saved as a youngster.
Wow.
Back in the day, in preparation, knowing that one day I was going to have this car to do as a tribute to my dad. And we have here some history. I don't know with the...
Yeah, I'll cut some shots in of that. I'll cut some shots in to show the guys on screen afterwards, so as to do that justice. But that's fabulous. So in terms of using this, do you actually use it for motorsport events at all?
This car is used every weekend regardless of the weather. When I get the chance, we live not too far from here, Prescott, so Auto Italia back in May. This Lancia Fulvia was up on the hill, did 6 runs, performed really well. Oh,
that was it. You were at Brooklands? You took it to Brooklands as well?
No, we didn't do the Brooklands one this year.
So Julian, this is one really special car, so thank you for telling us about it. I'll cut in some of the shots of the pictures that you've got, because I think the people would find that really interesting, and it's an absolutely fitting tribute to your late father. So well done for turning something out like this, and also for telling us the story behind it. Thanks very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers. So taking a walk up the hill now, we've got a Lotus Exige, Elise based hardtop. We've got a newer Porsche Boxster. We've got a lovely Super Carrera. I think it's a Super Carrera 89 Porsche 911. Got the massive whale tail spoiler on this one. Don't think it's a wide bodied turbo, but that looks absolutely stunning, doesn't it? That's lovely. Love one of those about the budget. So we've got a fabulous Porsche Spider. I think this was one of the ones that James Dean was killed in, a Porsche Spider. Unfortunately, he lost his life in one of those in an accident. Not sure if it's a recreation or not, but It's absolutely stunning, isn't it? There's not a lot of luxury in there, is there? Not much in the way of safety or driver and passenger comfort, but what a car. So sitting at the top of the TVR Tasman family is this SEAC, Special Equipment Aramid Composite, built mainly for competitions. It's got the more rounded front nose that the Tamsins didn't have, or the wedgie cars. Absolutely stunning condition. Bigger rear window, I believe, and well, you got a spoiler that is bigger than my dinner table. It's absolutely incredible. And it's a 420, I guess, with the Rover, still with the Rover V8. What a stunning car. Must be relatively limited in numbers, those. So I'm here with David, who owns this fabulous TVR SEAC, Special Equipment Aramid Composite, as I may have said elsewhere in the video. He's going to tell us about it, because these are really rare cars, aren't they?
Yes, it's one of 37.
Just 37, and 37 existing or made?
37 made. I think the majority still exist or
Okay.
have been rebuilt.
And how long have you had the car?
I've had this 5 years now.
And tell us about it, because it's not short of power, is it really?
No, it's funnily enough, I'll tell you a bit more about this later, but I had it on the dyno, and it's 316 bhp. So that's quite good. There's actually a little plaque on the engine on this one that says 322 when it was new.
And it weighs probably what, ton and a bit?
Well, I'm not sure about tons, but it's probably under 1,000 kilograms.
Wow.
Because it's 200 pounds lighter than a fiberglass version.
That's incredible.
So it's very light.
So they were built, there was a connection with competition, wasn't it? Sort of.
Yes, that's right. They actually made these to race in, I can't remember which series it was now. But they I think it was 750 Motor Club, something like that. And they started out and then they were banned because they were too fast.
I can imagine.
And they were
yeah.
beating everything else. So for its age, you know, this is 1987 car. So it's 36 years old,
Wow.
coming up to 37. And it's only done 24,000 miles.
That's incredible.
I bought it, as I said, 5 years ago. It was actually owned originally by a guy that was absolutely fanatical about it, and hence all the chroming in the engine and things like that. And he actually kept it till 2009, and he used to trailer it to the factory to be serviced.
Wow,
and to
that's
have,
dedication, isn't it?
yeah,
Really. Yeah.
and to have work done on it. So yeah, so it's an original car. I've actually had the engine rebuilt because it needed new piston rings because it was blowing.
And it's basically underneath. It's the Buick Rover unit.
It
as
is.
a base of that. I
That's
mean,
the
obviously
base
a
of
lot,
it, yep.
lot developed from there.
Yep,
Yeah, of course.
yep. But there's actually a guy in Coventry who well, it used to be a TVR dealer, and they also made the TVR engines originally,
Okay.
and now called Powers Performance. The guy that actually built this engine originally, he rebuilt it for me over the COVID lockdown.
Oh wow! Well, that was good use of time, wasn't it? Really, without a doubt.
Absolutely.
It's a fabulous car. I mean, this obviously it turns heads, but it's also must still have, with that power output and the weight, just a massive turn of speed.
Yeah, it has. You know, for its time, it was virtually unbeatable by virtually any supercar. And today, it still does. You know, it's about 60 and 5 point something. So it's a quick car.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for telling us about it. Much appreciated.
No problem at all.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
Thank you. So a quite rare and unusual car here. It's a Cavalier Mark II, but it's the estate. So the estates were built with kits that came in from GM's subsidiary Holden in Australia. Quite expensive to import and produce, but gave Vauxhall an estate in the all-important UK fleet market. Didn't sell so many of these, to be honest with you, but and hence rare to see them. Certainly rare to see them in this condition. This is a GL, so we're one or two up in the range. Lovely. So pretty much every corner of Prescott hill climb parking area and paddock area is absolutely chock-a-block with little beauties like this one, this Mini Cooper S. This has got the Mini Light alloys on it rather than the vented steels. Looks a treat. It's been also, it's been de-gutted, is that the right word? So all the gutters, traditional gutters, have been removed. It's interesting. Full roof gives it a really different look, doesn't it, with the gutters off. I didn't spot that at first, but now you look a bit more closely, it really is quite distinctive, isn't it? Sadly, we're not going up the hill today, but we have got plenty more cars to see, so do stick with us, do keep watching, and we'll go and see the rest of the cars that are in other parts of the paddock. So hope you enjoy those as well. Huge variation of cars here today. This R129 SL, and next to it we've got a lovely powder blue Triumph Herald. What's that, H70? As you know, these cars donated their floor pan and their doors to the Bond Equip, so Google that one if you've not seen a Bond Equip and try and spot the similarities. But this one is in stunning order, isn't it? Really lovely to see old cars like this getting their moment of glory as well. So back in 1977, Ford were very late to the party with the Fiesta. So they launched it in 77. This looks like it's a 1980 car, a GL. So on the cusp of a change, I think, to the bumpers that they made. Not sure if it's oyster gold. It is a GL. So it's got such fabulous additions as a push-button radio, halogen lamps, and servo-assisted brakes. Wow, we were really pushing the boat out with this one. Isn't this an absolutely stunning car? I'm so pleased to see that. Whoever's car that is, if you're watching, shout out to you, because it's a little gem. Love those widened steel wheels, just really subtle. So designed originally by Ogle, I think in the sort of more sedan 3-box version. This is, I think, an SEA, a later car. Reliant themselves built them, and then when Reliant ceased, they were built by a company called Middlebridge. It might be a Middlebridge car, so-called car. Love that cream German taxi colour. Does look a treat, so different to see. Beautiful half velour type interior. Like many of them, it's an auto. Really handy, and I guess what a really useful little sports car, hatchback, whatever you want to call it, it is, isn't it? So we've got bookends of the Elan story. We've got a Super Elan Sprint in those so-called gold leaf colours, and next to it we've got the later M100 Elan with the Isuzu engine. This one, the top's down, fortunately we can take a look inside. Uses a lot of GM switchgear, a turbo and a normally aspirated version. You'll rarely see a normally aspirated version of one of these. I think they're about 160 horsepower, not a lot by today's standard, but quick. But controversially for Lotus, front wheel drive, and didn't sell in huge numbers. Got to be tipped for future stardom, surely. So we're all used to seeing the pretty little, I think, Pininfarina designed Peugeot 205, but the GTIs, this is the XS car. So it's fitted with the 1360 TU engine. I think it's got it's carburetor engine, 80 brake horsepower. Lovely to see, but didn't they get the styling of the 205 absolutely bang on? They are so pretty pert looking little cars, and it's great to see one with XS trim level rather than a GTI for a change. There can't be too many places where you can go from a Corrado VR6, maybe a Storm 1, one of the run out cars, to a highly modified Ford Pop. I think that one's open, not for those of you who are too tall. Incredible piece of kit, that one, isn't it? Try not to fall down the hill whilst filming that one. That wouldn't be that funny. Next to it, we've got another one. Not got the quite though the chop on the roof, but next to it something we're a bit more familiar with. So let's take a look at this one, and it's a Lancia Delta HF Integrale. Stunning colour, isn't it? Drove one of these on my channel last year, towards the, I think, back end of last year or something like that, I think it was. Lovely quilted interior. Incredible cars, based on the Fiat Strada platform, the original car. Hard to believe, unrecognisable by the time we reached the Integrale Evo stage, but lovely nevertheless. So I've had to walk past some pretty tasty looking cars to get this one, and I tell you what, this one's got me all excited. It's a Phase 1 Rover 800. It's a relatively late one. I think the first cars reached dealers on a D-plater. This has got the duotone outside paint treatment based on the Honda Legend, but this looks to be the top of the range. I think the top of the range was a Sterling. Let's have a look and see if I'm right. Oh yeah, for once I'm right. It's the 24 valve Stirling, so I think originally with the 2.5 litre engine in, and then later 2.7 from memory. I could be wrong on that one. Lovely to see these. I love that really sharp styling that these early cars have got. Sold in US only as Stirling, not under the Rover name, but unfortunately not a commercial success there. Great to see that, isn't it? So the first red sports car is a Triumph TR4, a beauty. Next to it is the TR4A. Subtle differences, and I think it's the TR4A IRS. I think that stands for independent rear suspension, although visually there's not much to differentiate them, is there really? And next to it, a fabulous TVR. I think that's a Cigaris. I'm pretty sure that's a Cigaris. I believe this is a Chrysler Sunbeam pre-Talbot days, and I think it might be a TI rather than a Lotus. But what I am sure about is Andros Heat for Hire were an absolutely dedicated sponsor of Russell Brooks. I think mainly Russell Brooks, and this, if it's a recreation, it's a fantastic looking car, isn't it? It's got the correct logos, it's got the full timing gear inside, it's got the Lombard RAC Rally. How many of us went to that back in the day? We do miss that. I think basically you just roll around Wales these days, but it looks absolutely incredible, doesn't it? Wow. If you're watching the video, guys, you've done a great job with that one. Love it. So many memories. So this will be an early Mark 1 Escort because they launched only in '68, replacing the 105e Anglia. This one's a bit more fruity than that one, I suppose. It's badged as a GT. It's got the bonnet vents, which might indicate there's a bit more beneath the bonnet than we suspect. Absolutely stunning car with that dog bone front grille. Amazing with those wide steel wheels as well. So this 350, or is it 370Z, is bearing some Japanese show plates. I won't even attempt to repeat what that says. Possibly I'm offending other people in different countries, so if you know, then keep it to yourself. Some lovely features, you know, the traditional Japanese waving cat is on the dashboard, it's on the doormats, it's on the gear lever, it's in the back. Wow, there's some effort's gone into this car, isn't it? It's a 350Z, well, at least we know that much now anyway. And it's, what, 2004, 2005 car. Well, it's a hell of a piece of work, isn't it? So if you fancy a Lotus Elan and you want a bit more space, here's a +2, so you've got a couple of seats in the back. In fact, Graham Hill had one as his company car because I filmed the actual car at the Lancaster show last year. Got those all-important pop-up lights for pop-up light fans like myself. Lovely two-tone, interesting pop-up sunroof in there, and lovely two-tone cream over burgundy. Wow. So this is a Mark III Cavalier, but with this particular car it is the V6. So the V6 right at the top of the range. I think they did a few versions of this. I'm not sure what trim level this is. Had a few neat features on this one, like anti-trap windows. It's this is a later car as well. I think on the later cars they were fitted with ABS brakes, I believe. So this 1986 Ford Capri, it's not a 2.8 injection, spoiler alert, it's actually a laser, a special edition version. I think they came with a 1.6 and the 2 litre engines. This, I think the trim was unique to them, that sort of herringbone type trim. Still have the rear spoiler, well certainly this one does. Great to see those. Oh, it is a 2 litre after all. Fantastic. So the X19 gets its name actually from the project number. So this is the project number that Fiat used for it, and it kept that as a model name, which was initially quite unusual. I think this is something that continued after this. Later cars were built by Bertoni. This one's badged Fiat, so it probably was still a Fiat car, although it does have Bertoni badges as well, strangely enough. Lovely interior, quite a cosy place to be. It's not raining today, so perfect to enjoy the open air. Mid-engined, 5-speed, what more do you want? Lovely. So we're on the overflow parking and look what we found. We found a Citroen BX, but not just any Citroen BX, it's a later facelifted car. I think this was a Gandini design. I think they'd hawked this around to a few manufacturers. I think even Volvo were looking at having a crack at this one. But this one is an Athena. Now this nameplate, the Athena Special Edition nameplate, was used on the CX as well. My dad had I think a CX with that on. It's got the rear spoiler that the GTIs and GTs probably would have had. GTIs, I guess, on this this one. Absolutely lovely to see. It is in superb order, and quite rightly it says it's come from France with love, and I'm sure that's the case. What a stunning looking Citroen BX. Lovely. Bizarrely, sharing parts with the Citroen SM due to the joint ownership of Maserati and Citroen at the time is this Maserati Merak. I think rear mid-engined. I think mid-engined actually on thoughts. It's got those buttresses but with the bits cut out the middle. That's a bit of rearward vision there. Incredible cars. Not actually that big. This is the SS. I'll have to look up exactly what the SS was. A derivative, but incredible. Look at some of the features here. You can see through all that space there, that rear window and the grills. It's only when you get close up you really notice that sort of line that's reminiscent of the Miura looking at the window line. I think there's some commonality there. Quite often the Italians did like to dust off some of the designs and offer them to other people or reuse them, and maybe that's one of them. That's a stunner, isn't it? A little bit like the Porsche Carrera next to it. I don't know too much about that car. It's got the old whale tail at the back. There are so many modifications and recreations and retro mods of these. It's difficult to know what's what, but no question, it does look absolutely stunning, doesn't it, in that colour? In fact, they both do. I'll have both of them, please. Rarely do Mark IV Cortinas survive as well as this one. This one's, I think, a GL, looking at it, lovely metallic blue trim. The Mark Vs exist in greater numbers. Okay, it's a newer car, but there was a difference apparently in rust proofing, so they say. Got that much sharper styling. The indicators don't wrap round as they do on the Mark V. Lovely details in chrome at the top of the doors, and the side trim being a GL derivative. A little bit of fake wood on the dash. No mistaking, that's a lovely lovely Mark IV, isn't it? So this Beetle's a relatively rare one, at least the livery is. I think in 72, 73, I think it was 73 in fact, the company Volkswagen decided to try and appeal to a younger clientele with the Beetle, and they came up with the so-called jeans livery on the vehicle, just to give it a bit more of a modern, younger look, and this is one of them. Not sure if it's an original car, I'm not sure how many were produced. Apologies, I'll try and put that on screen, but nevertheless I think it's the first time I've seen one of these at a show. So thanks again for joining me at the fabulous Prescott Hill Climb Coffee and Chrome event with Footman James. Hope you like the video that you've seen and the interviews that we've had with the owners. Please like, share, subscribe, turn on notifications so not to miss my next video, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thanks for watching.